Hello, friends, and welcome back to Restore You. It is Angela, and I am here today with a little tutorial and some fun with wallpaper. This was actually a request from someone in a group that I am a part of, and the question was, how do you take apart your wallpaper sample books? So I thought I would show you, hopefully quickly. I don't know how this is going to go, but we're just going to try it because it does take a little bit of muscle, but I have done a little bit of prep in advance. But before I do that, if you are watching for the first time, please be sure to give us a thumbs up and like the video if you so choose, and subscribe so you don't miss our future videos. And a special shout out today to Sweet P21 Pinto and to Starlight Craft GB. Thank you for following. Thanks for your comments. I appreciate it. So let me tell you what you're going to need. I've got some basic supplies. I've got some snips. I've got some needle nose pliers. These are not the best, by the way. I have a flathead screwdriver and my handy dandy, very cool. Let's see. We're not going to use it that way, but my Tough Built Scraper Utility Knife. So I do have a knife. Oh gosh, now I'm not going to remember how to, there we go. This is how we're going to be using it. And then I have a butter knife. So this tends to be very, very helpful. So those are the supplies that you're going to need. And I will tell you, depending on your wallpaper book, just to start, for example, this one has almost like a suitcase type handle. I don't normally keep these, but I do keep all of the ones that have like this one that have the plastic, or I've cut all of these off from the leather ones. Usually the ones that are clear have some words on it, so I don't necessarily keep those. But just note that, use everything you can. You can use the covers too. So with all the supplies that I've talked about, here's what is generally easiest. This one I have already, and every single book is different. So that is the one thing that you're going to have to consider. I'll show you how I pull these out in a minute, and see that many of these have the cardboard binding, and they also have big old staples, so we're going to need some of those tools. They also have usually some type of post, screw, something. So those are going to be things that we need to think about when we're taking this apart. So what I'll do is I will kind of just show you what I do, and then we'll just go from there. So the first thing, I don't know how well this is going to work. I think I'm just going to have to roll with it. So the first thing that I usually do is start by literally popping this apart. And I'm using a lot of muscle, what little muscle I have, to kind of pull these apart. You can kind of see that it's coming apart there until I get it to a point that allows me to pull this apart. And then I'll do this. So this one looks like this isn't too bad. Now, here is my story. So last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I got a call from our local paint and wallpaper store. And you guys probably already know this. Dave and I do a lot of renovating homes, and sorry about that, oops. And so I spend a lot of time at our local paint stores, both here and in Omaha. And so, you come to know these people. And about probably a year ago, maybe it's been more than that. Now all I'm doing is just using force. You can't see that but see, look at this. This is it's almost like it's a nail head with no, yeah, man, they're rugged. Anyway, this one might be a little more difficult to get out. but you're kind of getting the gist. And then once you get this all torn apart, see, I didn't know how this would work. That's why I did a little bit of the work on the back side, because I don't want to make you guys dizzy. Let's see if I can get this to move. We might have to just move on. Let's see. Can I get this one? Oh, this one might come out. There we go. So I'm just lifting that up with my knife. And that's about all there is to it. I say that, but when I mean that's all there is to it, it means get ready to use your muscles. And I'll tell you what, there is some prime real estate in here by opening up the book, but there are also, you know, staple. Okay, so you get the idea on that part of it. Now let me get to the other one. But it is a lot of work. There's, you know, staples that have to come out, and then those staples have, you have the staple marks. But the way that I normally do that is I'll use either my screwdriver. And see, this has the great big, I know you can't see that probably. This has the really, really sturdy staples like you would use in upholstery. And it's also got the regular ones. So yeah, I'm really glad I chose this one to show you. So anyway, it must have been 2 years ago. We were having a kids camp, and we obviously do a lot of art projects. And so I had gone to them and said, hey, if you have any wallpaper books, I'd love to take them off of your hands. And they came through for me, and I don't know, I ended up with 8 or so wallpaper books, which was great because with the kiddos, you know, canvases get expensive. And so being able to use kind of the plain, so now I've just pulled those all up for the most part. Ooh, there's one little baby one here. You know, that gets expensive. And so using these kind of plain backgrounds, obviously this one would not be one, make for great canvases for kids to paint on or do other art projects. I mean, there's just a plethora, just like there is for us who journal and do mixed media. There are tons of things that you can do with children using wallpaper books. So they've come in really, really handy. Well, I hadn't heard from them for quite some time. I think I've picked up a few here and there. And so the manager called me and said, hey, do you still need wallpaper books? Well, need is kind of no, I did not need. All right, well, all I'm doing right now is just pulling a few pages out as I go. And this is, you know, but you're getting, I mean, I use this stuff for collage. But you're still getting another, you know, couple of inches if you're going to go to this. Oh, that's cool. Look. If you're going to go to this treble, you should use every bit of it that you can. See, it's got the little color scheme on the side. Cute. And so she said, would you like to come and get them? And I'm like, oh, sure. And so at that very night, someone on the group that I'm in said, does anybody know how to get these off of here? And I'm like, I'm happy to do a video for you and show you how I do it. Well, she later sent another message and said, you know what? This is a lot of work. I think I'm just going to cut them out. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I went to the store, and she had told me, she's like, hey, if I'm not there, just tell the guys that you're here to pick them up. I put them in this location and they'll be able to help you. I'm like, oh, okay. It took 4 people plus myself to load them all in my car. So my back seat of I just have like a sedan, I don't have an SUV anymore. And it was full, the whole back seat. So I went about my day. That was in the morning. And in the afternoon, I was just getting finished running my errands with a whole backseat loaded full of wallpaper books. And she said, hey, we have more. Can you come and get them? I'm like, oh, sure. Now, you might be saying, really, what do you, like, who needs that many wallpaper books? I do not. That is the moral of the story. But, we do go, I mean, when you have those kind of camps and things, you can go through them pretty quickly. So I'm just, again, getting these staples so they're relatively straight up and down. Okay, let's try this one more time. I'm not sure what happened. I was just talking away and all of a sudden it just stopped. I think I need to delete some of my things from free up some storage is the deal. So I will try to carry on quickly. So where was I? So anyway, I went back the next day or a couple days later and picked up the rest of them. And then I was like, what am I going to do with all of these? So a couple of things. I went through them all and found the ones that were really good, the neutrals, the ones that are kind of like blank slates for camps. And then there were a couple kind of kid-esque ones that I kept for that as well, because I thought we could do some fun projects with it. And then I reached out to our creative director at our venue, who is also a high school teacher. And I'm like, would your art teacher or art program be interested in some wallpaper books? Because there's no way I can use all of these. And she's like, oh, let me ask her. So I'm going to be donating some of those to her school and probably my kids' school as well. And then I'll use, in fact, I should show you. Oh, did I put them away? I kept very, very little. But then what I decided was, well, I should be sharing my gifts, and I'm very grateful for this. This is super cute. With everyone else. So I painstakingly have spent, I can't even tell you. So if you're going to do this and you're taking these apart, just be prepared that it takes a long time to, go through these and tear them apart. To what I did is then cut them into 8x10 pages so that I could make some kits for all of you out there. And then I did some smaller kits that are basically 5x7 and smaller, with some really, really fun patterns. My favorite probably is, and like I said, I just kind of started and just went with it. I didn't, other than the ones for the kiddos, I didn't pick through. I just started tearing them, ouch, taking them apart. Watch your fingers. So putting those into kits, and literally, I think I went through, I want to say about eight books maybe. And it took me 3 days from start to finish. And now I just have to put them into, there's some really cute patterns in this one. Adorbs. So now I just have to put them into kits, and then I say that takes forever too, and then get them up for you guys. And then of course I have, I'm making some kits and gifting them to some of my fellow crafter friends as well. So that will be fun. But anytime that you can find these, and what we're doing, I mean, this is the reason that I took them. The true fact is, and if I didn't, they would seriously be tossed in the garbage, and they would be in the landfill. And I don't want that to happen. Why do that? Save the environment where I can. And yes, it takes a long time. And as you can tell, it's taking forever to get this just one book apart. A couple things. So I'm really happy about that. I'm happy that I can give back to my community. I'm happy that the lovely team at my local paint and wallpaper store was so generous to me and thought of me and kept me in mind. I mean, it's been a very long time since I've been in touch with them, and they remembered, so that was really sweet. These things. Ugh. Although, I'll tell you what, I want to talk a little bit when I'm pulling this apart. Sorry for my grunting. But look how long these staples are. See what I'm saying? I mean, these are deadly. If you can get these out without breaking them, this particular one, this was from a small book. I tried to find a smaller wallpaper book. This one is about, let's see, just so you guys kind of have an idea, because you know most of them are pretty big. This one is 10 by 11, but a lot of them are, you know, 16 by 16, and so they're quite large. But so this one was one I picked. But these, if you can see, I mean, those are at least 1/8 of an inch, maybe. Yeah, about 1/8 of an inch thick. So they would make great spines. I busted that one, so that one's not gonna stay with me. But spines for your books or your journals. So keep that in mind. And that's the other thing I wanted to share. Like, for example, all of these tabs, you know, they're nice heavy cardstock. You could use these to make tags, make all kinds of fun things. Hopefully that goes, there we go. I was getting a call. And I use, in fact, let me just show you and then I'll wrap this up. And I was looking for one of the things I made, but this is like really pliable, you know, plastic. And I actually made like little pocket wallets for journals, and used some book page and then sewed around it and put little snaps on them. And there's tons of other things you can do with it. And then these, I even keep these and make little stamps and things out of them. This would make a great journaling card, for example. So I don't just use the wallpaper book itself. Here's some of the shabby chic ones. These are some of my favorites, and I have got lots and lots of kits. And these are some I was just playing with. I accidentally ripped this one when I was prepping it, and I just made a little journal cover. This could be a pocket. This could be a journal card, and I just used the coffee dyed paper. But here's some others that I just kind of pulled out of there. But so use every piece and part, because there's lots that you can do. And then I'm going to put this aside and finish it up off camera. But this is one, I want you guys' opinion. So there are several of these little mini books, mini wallpaper books. And they are 6 by, well, from top to bottom, 6 by 8. When you open them up, they're about just over a 6.5. But I thought, so here, another thing. I was joking on that group I'm in. I'm like, you know, maybe my Why Not Wednesdays you need to change to 2022 Wallpaper Wednesday. And I think I'm going to do it. But one thing I thought would be kind of cool, what if I could figure out a way to just make an entire journal out of one of these? And see, this is like one of those neutrals that I would use for the kiddos. But I don't know. What do you think? Should I try it? What other ideas do you have for this little cute guy? Because it's just got a good feel, and it's already got a handle. I can make it pretty. So just throw it out there to me. I would be happy to hear your ideas. And if you're someone who wants some of these packets or kits, if you will, you know, give me a comment, reach out to me. You can always text, call, email. I'm open to anything. I am having a booger of a time getting that. Okay, you know what? We're going to do this. See how I'm doing that? Not easily, but if you can get those great big staples off of there. And honestly, on this last one is really thick, probably too thick for me to use for a spine. This is about a 1/2 inch. So that will go in the waist as well. But now if I can just get, there we go. Oh, that little guy, he just didn't, I might just have to rip some of this. Okay, so I want you to know that, you know, I'm showing this so that you can kind of see just the process. And if by now you're going, okay, forget that, then I will tell you that I did not do that. When I went to the store, I was overwhelmed with how many there were. And so I was like, well, I think I will be cutting them out. And that is where this, I mean, and I've used a lot of them, but this is the absolute best, most comfortable cutter. I couldn't figure out why my shoulder was killing me after the first day when I was cutting them all out. But you're using like a lot of force. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why my shoulder hurts. Because the next day I was doing it again, and I'm like, I thought maybe I slept on it wrong. No, it was from tearing or cutting out wallpaper. Oh, this crafting, it's a hazard to our health sometimes, I'm telling you. Okay, so once again, I was talking to myself, so here I am. I'm back. But as I was saying, this is probably the easiest way, and I've already cut a bunch of these out because I didn't realize it wasn't recording. So, young lady, you need to get down. Izzy Kitty came to see me. I just try to get as close to the edge as possible. When I'm putting these, you know, sometimes you can get several. Depends on how much force that I put on them. But I just hold the cover and kind of do this at an angle to get as much as the wallpaper as I can. Now, sometimes you can just literally tear them out. Oh, this must have been a sample someone was interested in. I probably need to change my blade after doing all those. And you just keep kind of going. It's a little bit cathartic. I did it while I was watching TV. The first couple that I did on the floor. Again, probably the reason that my shoulder was killing me. So I wouldn't suggest that. But lots of different things you can do. And so back to my Wallpaper Wednesday idea. I think I'm just going to start on occasional Wednesdays and doing some videos with the primary material being the wallpaper books. And the other exciting thing is I just looked and I am almost to 350 subscribers. So I think in probably one of my next video or two, I will be doing a announcement for the 350 subscriber giveaways. And I don't know, you guys, you comment and tell me, what do you think about a great big bundle of wallpaper love? I don't know. Or do you have something else in mind? Before I got these, I had something else in mind, but I think this would be a good way for me to continue to share. So let me know in the comments. And I will be here for a while tearing out this book, but I will let you all go. Again, I really, truly, truly appreciate you and all of you following along. Ask me some questions. Tell me what your thoughts and ideas are on all of these fun little things, and maybe that could be something that we could make together in one of the Wallpaper Wednesdays. So until next time, friends, remember to take time to just be, and I will see you soon. Cheers.